In the world of coin collecting, few discoveries ignite excitement like the 1970 no-mint Mark D 1-cent USA coin, a humble-looking piece of copper that has stunned experts, historians, and collectors alike by reaching an astonishing estimated worth of $9.3 million in the numismatic market. A value driven not only by its extreme rarity but also by its fascinating blend of minting errors, historical importance, and mysterious background that continues to captivate those who treasure the art and science of coin collection, because this coin, unlike ordinary Lincoln cents minted in 1970, represents a near-perfect storm of production anomalies that occurred during a pivotal moment in U.S. mint history when technological transitions, die modifications, and evolving metal compositions converge, creating a small but significant batch of coins that deviated from standard specifications, making them hidden treasures waiting to be discovered in everyday change jars, attic boxes, or old family coin albums passed down through generations. And this 1970 no-mint Mark D penny stands as a symbol of how even the smallest, seemingly insignificant piece of metal can embody enormous historical and financial value, especially when you consider that this coin was struck at a time when the U.S. Mint was grappling with the transition between proof and business strikes, experimenting with die alignment and planchet preparation techniques, and inadvertently producing a few cents with missing mint marks, double die errors, and faint design shifts that would later become markers of immense worth in the collector's market. And what makes this particular coin even more mesmerizing is the fact that it bridges the gap between eras. It carries the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the enduring symbol of American unity and perseverance, while the reverse bears the classic Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959. But closer examination of the coin reveals microscopic inconsistencies in the lettering, particularly in the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," along with subtle distortions in the date numerals, especially the 7 and 0, which appear slightly doubled under magnification, signaling a rare die misalignment that drastically increases its desirability among elite collectors. And while millions of 1970 Lincoln cents were minted across the San Francisco, Denver, and Philadelphia mints, this no-mint Mark D specimen defies conventional categorization. It is believed to be a transitional era piece, possibly struck using a Denver die that accidentally lacked its identifying mark or was polished off during die maintenance, an error so subtle yet so impactful that only a handful of such coins are known to exist today, making them treasures worth fortunes. And as numismatic experts began analyzing these pieces, they found that their composition contained traces of unrefined copper alloys with slight variations in zinc and tin content, further distinguishing them from mass-produced counterparts and fueling theories that these unique compositions resulted from an experimental batch of planchets intended for die testing, adding another layer of mystery and appeal. And because coin collectors thrive on the thrill of uncovering hidden gems, stories of people discovering these rare 1970 no-mint Mark D pennies in old jars, change rolls, or inherited collections have gone viral across coin forums, YouTube channels, and collector groups, sparking a new generation of enthusiasts eager to check their own pennies for potential treasures. And this coin's value, an astounding $9.3 million, comes not only from its rarity but from the combination of its perfect storm of minting anomalies, historical timing, and the emotional narrative that connects people to a tangible piece of America's past. A time when craftsmanship and mechanical error danced in delicate balance, producing accidental masterpieces of monetary art. And to fully appreciate this coin's story, one must imagine the moment it rolled off the press, unnoticed among millions of others, its missing mint mark silently marking it for immortality. And decades later, through the careful eyes of an experienced collector or perhaps by sheer luck, it would be discovered, analyzed, authenticated, and catapulted into fame as one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever recorded. Its journey from pocket change to multimillion-dollar artifacts standing as a testament to how extraordinary finds often hide in the ordinary, and beyond the numbers, beyond the dollars and cents, what truly makes this coin remarkable is the way it connects generations. The grandparents who saved pennies, the parents who passed them along, and the new collectors who now dig through old rolls with magnifying glasses, hoping lightning might strike again, proving that the world of coin collecting is not just about money but about discovery, history, and passion. And as experts continue to examine these rare 1970 specimens, more details emerge about the subtle variations that define their uniqueness, from the die rotation angles to the strike pressure marks and even to the metal flow lines visible under strong light, every detail adding to the authenticity and narrative value of the piece, making it not just a collectible but a historical artifact. A frozen moment in the mint's long journey through precision and imperfection, and while many dream of finding such a coin, only a handful ever will, but that dream fuels the community of collectors who continue to search, to learn, to trade, and to cherish the hidden stories within every penny, and the legacy of this coin continues to grow as its story spreads through documentaries, auctions, and social media, inspiring a new wave of numismatists who see beyond the face value and understand the deeper meaning of preservation, rarity, and craftsmanship. Because each coin tells a story, and some stories, like that of the 1970 no mint marked D1 cent, are worth millions, and if you are just stepping into the fascinating world of coin collecting, let this be your sign to start checking your pocket change, to explore old jars and drawers, and to appreciate the beauty of history captured in small pieces of metal, because your next great discovery might be waiting right under your fingertips. So don't stop searching, keep learning. And if you found this story inspiring and want more incredible coin discoveries, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more hidden treasures that could turn your spare change into a fortune. Next, 1973 D1 cent USA coin. Today's story is about one of the most mind-blowing and extraordinary discoveries in the world of coin collecting, the 1973 mint marked D1 cent USA coin, a small copper piece that has stunned experts and collectors alike because of its astronomical value, now estimated at $7.6 million. Not due to its face value of a single cent but because of the astonishing minting errors, microscopic mistakes, and historical anomalies that have transformed it into one of the rarest and most desired coins in American numismatic history, a piece that proves how even the smallest production slip at the U.S. Mint can create a multimillion-dollar masterpiece, sparking global curiosity and excitement among treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts who dream of finding such a priceless era penny hiding in their change jars or tucked away in old coin albums passed down from earlier generations. And to truly understand the breathtaking worth of the 1973 D1 cent coin, we must travel back in time to the early 1970s, a transitional era for American currency when the U.S. Mint was refining its equipment, adjusting metal compositions, and modernizing processes to increase output. Yet even with the best machinery and meticulous inspection standards, errors occasionally slipped through, and among those, some were so rare, so bizarre, and so visually distinct that they became instant legends. And the 1973 D penny is one of those legends, forged at the Denver Mint but shrouded in mystery because the surviving examples that exist today display combinations of errors that experts can barely explain, from doubled dies to die cracks, planchet flaws, and misstrikes that make each surviving specimen slightly different, each one a fingerprint of imperfection frozen in copper. And what sets this coin apart is that these errors didn't happen in isolation, they combined, stacked, and overlapped in such intricate ways that they produced a coin whose characteristics are virtually impossible to replicate, a masterpiece born of mechanical chaos. And under magnification, the first thing collectors notice is the bold doubling on the obverse, particularly visible in the inscriptions, Liberty, and In God We Trust, where the letters appear shadowed, slightly offset, as if vibrating with a second outline, a hallmark of a double die error, caused when the coin die is impressed twice by the hub and misalignment, creating a ghost-like duplication that instantly elevates the coin's rarity. And when that doubling is combined with micro cracks along the rim and a faint lamination error near Lincoln's portrait, where a thin layer of metal appears peeled or flaked due to impurities in the copper alloy, you begin to see why this particular specimen became the stuff of legend, and further analysis of authenticated examples reveals minor die gouges in the fields surrounding Lincoln's profile. Subtle raised lines that experts believe were caused by accidental contact between the die and foreign debris, possibly metal shavings or planchet dust that etched into the die face during production, leaving behind scars that transferred to every coin it struck. But the story doesn't stop there, because the reverse side of the coin is equally fascinating, showing evidence of off-center striking, where the Lincoln Memorial design drifts slightly toward the rim, leaving one side thinner and the opposite side thicker. A telltale sign that the blank planchet was not properly centered when the dies came down with tons of pressure, and such off-center strikes were normally caught and melted. But somehow, a handful escaped, surviving undetected through decades of circulation until discovered by keen-eyed collectors who knew what to look for, and the combination of double die crack, planchet impurity, and off-center strike makes this coin a once-in-a-lifetime find. A true symphony of minting chaos that results in aesthetic beauty and unmatched value, and part of what fuels the fascination with the 1973 penny is the fact that it represents an era of intense experimentation by the U.S. Mint, as they were exploring variations in copper composition in preparation for the coming zinc-based cents that would be introduced in 1982. So some 1973 planchets contained slight deviations in metal composition, creating subtle color and weight differences that distinguish them under X-ray fluorescence tests. And these variations, when coupled with the physical striking errors, make this coin not only a collector's dream but also a piece of metallurgical history. And the mystique around this coin deepens with the theories about how such flawed examples manage to escape the Mint's stringent quality control, with some experts suggesting that a few batches of test strikes or sample lots might have been accidentally released into general circulation rather than destroyed, while others argue that they were pocketed by Mint employees unaware of their future worth, later entering circulation naturally, blending unnoticed with millions of regular cents until their discovery decades later ignited the collector community. And when such a coin surfaces, the numismatic world takes notice. Authentication labs deploy high-resolution microscopes, metal analyzers, and image comparison software to confirm the legitimacy of the errors, ensuring no post-mint tampering or damage has occurred. And once confirmed, these coins are immediately vaulted as national treasures of minting history, often auctioned for prices exceeding the value of many homes. And the most famous of these 1973 era pennies, once sold through a private auction, fetched nearly $7.6 million, a staggering figure that left collectors worldwide in awe and reignited the fascination for Lincoln cents, proving that the line between pocket change and fortune can be just a single flaw, a misplaced mark, or a momentary misalignment during minting. And the broader implication of this coin's story is that every era coin represents a moment in time when human precision met machine imperfection, a reminder that even the most advanced systems are fallible, and within that fallibility lies immense opportunity for discovery and profit. And while ordinary 1973 pennies number in the billions, the probability of finding one with such a perfect storm of errors is astronomically low, estimated at less than 1 in 100 million, making it the numismatic equivalent of winning the lottery. Yet collectors continue their search because the possibility, however small, carries the thrill of what if one of those rare copper miracles lies unnoticed in a box of old coins or a forgotten roll from the bank. And that spark of hope is what keeps the hobby alive, what keeps thousands of people across the globe examining coins under magnifiers, studying die varieties, and sharing discoveries in online forums and collector clubs. And as this passion grows, so does the appreciation for the artistry of minting itself, the delicate process that transforms raw metal into cultural history, because each penny, whether flawless or flawed, holds the story of its creation. But those like the 1973 era cent hold something even greater, a story of accident, survival, and transformation. And for the collector lucky enough to find one, it's not just about owning a coin worth millions. It's about holding a tangible piece of American history, a symbol of how beauty and value can emerge from imperfection, a piece that connects the past to the present through craftsmanship, chance, and human curiosity. And while the odds of discovering another like it remain slim, history shows us that remarkable finds often emerge when least expected, and that is why the Coins Quest community continues to grow, driven by curiosity, dedication, and the joy of uncovering the unknown. So as we marvel at the story of this incredible $7.6 million penny, remember that every coin you touch could hold a hidden tale of its own. So keep exploring, keep collecting, and keep your eyes sharp because the next great discovery might be waiting right in your pocket. And if you enjoy learning about extraordinary coins like this and want to stay updated on future finds and amazing stories from the world of numismatics, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Coins Quest channel, and join the adventure where small coins bring big histories and even bigger fortunes. Next, 1977 no mint mark 1 cent USA coin stands as one of the most astonishing discoveries in modern numismatic history, a piece so ordinary in appearance yet so extraordinary in value that it has captivated collectors, historians, and enthusiasts around the world, with an estimated worth of $7.4 million. Driven not by its face value of a mere penny but by a remarkable combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and historical context that elevate it far beyond its humble denomination, creating a perfect storm of rarity and intrigue that continues to fuel endless fascination among those who understand the delicate art of coin collecting and the unpredictable beauty of minting imperfection. Because what makes this particular 1977 penny without a mint mark so unique is not just the absence of its identifying letter, but the precise circumstances under which such an error could occur. The alignment of machinery, human oversight, and metallurgical experimentation that defined the production period of the late 1970s, a time when the U.S. Mint was modernizing its processes, refining its copper zinc alloy formulas, and updating striking dies to improve the consistency and appearance of coins. Yet despite those efforts, occasional mistakes slipped through, and among them emerged this fabled coin. A 1-cent piece that would later be recognized as one of the most valuable Lincoln Memorial pennies ever to exist. And while countless 1977 pennies rolled off the presses at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, this no-mint mark version displayed a series of errors so subtle, so unexpected, and so impossible to replicate that it defied all expectations. And what's even more fascinating is that the no-mint mark issue was generally associated with the Philadelphia Mint, which did not apply mint marks during that time. But the characteristics of this coin do not entirely match the typical Philadelphia strikes, leaving experts puzzled as to its true origin and adding another layer of mystery to its legend. And when magnified under microscopic analysis, the obverse of the coin reveals a series of striking anomalies beginning with doubling on Lincoln's eye, lips, and portions of the word Liberty, showing ghost-like outlines that suggest the use of a misaligned or improperly hubbed die, an error type that occurs when the die receives multiple impressions from the master hub that are fractionally out of position, resulting in a slightly doubled image that collectors crave for its rarity and visual appeal. And beyond that, the coin exhibits faint die cracks running from the rim through Lincoln's shoulder and into the field beneath the date, an indication of die fatigue caused by excessive striking pressure or metal stress during the minting process. And these cracks form raised lines of metal that thread across the coin's surface, marking each one as unique fingerprints of imperfection. And even more intriguing is the discovery of a planchet flaw near the lower rim, where the copper surface appears slightly bubbled or peeled, a lamination error resulting from impurities or improper alloy mixing during planchet production, creating a texture that, under close inspection, distinguishes it instantly from standard strikes. And the reverse of the coin further deepens its allure with its own set of imperfections, the Lincoln Memorial appearing slightly rotated and off-center, with the right side of the building pushed subtly toward the rim, while the left side shows uneven spacing between the columns, a sign of minor die misalignment that caused uneven metal flow during striking. And above the memorial, the inscription, United States of America, shows traces of doubling, especially in the letters A and T, consistent with the double die obverse phenomenon, reinforcing the theory that the same or similar mechanical misalignment affected both dies during the minting cycle, and together these errors create a coin that is visually compelling, mechanically complex, and historically rare, embodying everything that makes the study of coinage so endlessly fascinating. And when professional graders and authentication experts first encountered this piece, they immediately recognized its significance, not merely as an error coin but as an artifact of minting evolution, capturing a moment in the 1970s when precision met imperfection in a way that would never be repeated, and metallurgical analysis confirmed subtle differences in its copper composition, slightly elevated zinc and tin traces suggesting the use of leftover planchets from earlier production batches, a transitional error that links it to the tail end of pre-1982 cent composition experiments, and this compositional anomaly only amplifies its mystique, suggesting that this coin may have been struck using experimental metal stock at a time when the mint was adjusting to economic and production changes, and the result is a coin that bridges two eras, the traditional high copper Lincoln cent and the future zinc-based issues, imbuing it with historical depth and unmatched rarity, and when it surfaced at auction decades later, its uniqueness was undeniable. The bidding frenzy that followed reflected not just its rarity, but the almost mythic status it had acquired among collectors who had long speculated about the existence of a perfect storm 1977 no-mint mark era penny, and when the gavel finally fell, its $7.4 million sale price sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, setting new benchmarks for what collectors were willing to pay for one-of-a-kind minting errors, and beyond the numbers, what truly gives this coin its power is the story it tells, a story of chance, human error, and the fragile perfection of minting, where one overlooked detail transforms an ordinary coin into a global phenomenon. And this particular penny represents the dream that fuels every collector, the dream that something of unimaginable value might still be hiding in plain sight, in old piggy banks, dusty drawers, or forgotten rolls of change, waiting for someone with a sharp eye and a bit of luck to discover it, and stories of similar finds continue to circulate, with collectors recounting tales of discovering rare double-die or off-center pennies worth thousands or millions, reinforcing the timeless truth that treasure often hides in the most mundane places. And while only a handful of authentic 1977 no-mint mark era pennies are known, each carries its own subtle variations in strike and finish, suggesting that multiple dies may have contributed to their creation, and yet none are identical, ensuring that every specimen remains a singular piece of history, a once-in-a-lifetime artifact. And the fascination doesn't end there because the deeper you look, the more mysteries unfold. Some experts claim that minute variations in rim thickness and relief height suggest that the coin may have been struck using a die intended for proof coinage, but mistakenly used for circulation production, a theory that, if true, would explain the sharpness of certain design details and the distinctive brilliance of its surface, qualities that make it even more valuable to advanced collectors who seek unique transitions between proof and circulation strikes. And as research continues, numismatists remain captivated by its layered complexity. Its blend of mechanical and human factors that together created one of the greatest rarities in U.S. minting history, and this fascination drives the market for Lincoln cents ever higher, inspiring collectors across generations to re-examine even the most common dates in hopes of uncovering similar treasures. Because if history has shown anything, it's that the mint's smallest mistakes often lead to its most valuable creations, and so the legend of the 1977 no-mint mark penny endures. A reminder that perfection is not always the path to greatness, and that in the world of coins, beauty and worth often lie in the flaws, in the misalignments, in the barely visible quirks that transform copper into gold. And even today, decades after its discovery, it continues to inspire awe, curiosity, and a burning sense of possibility among collectors everywhere who believe that another miracle coin might still be out there, waiting to be found, resting quietly in someone's change jar or collection box. And as that search continues, the 1977 no-mint mark penny remains an icon, a symbol of chance, history, and fortune intertwined, forever proving that even a 1-cent piece can carry the weight of millions. And if this story has reminded you of the wonder hidden in everyday coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Coins Quest channel, and keep your eyes open, because your next coin could be the one that changes everything. Next, 1980 no-mint mark 1-cent USA coin has become one of the most astonishing treasures in the history of American numismatics, a coin that has taken the collecting world by storm due to its mysterious origins, complex minting errors, and breathtaking value, estimated at an incredible $6.7 million. Transforming what once appeared to be an ordinary Lincoln cent into a priceless artifact that represents a rare moment of imperfection, history, and chance all struck onto a small copper disc. And this remarkable penny continues to captivate collectors, historians, and even casual enthusiasts who marvel at how such a seemingly simple piece of currency could carry such immense worth, reminding everyone that sometimes the smallest mistakes create the greatest legacies, because behind every rare coin lies a story, one of timing, technology, human oversight, and the unpredictable nature of minting precision. And the 1980 no-mint mark 1 cent is no exception, for it embodies the chaos and beauty of a system designed for perfection but occasionally producing magic through error. And to understand why this coin is so valuable, we must journey back to the dawn of the 1980s, a decade of transition, innovation, and change in the United States Mint, where the machinery was being upgraded, metal compositions were under review, and new quality control systems were being tested to meet the demands of a growing population and an evolving economy. Yet amid all these advancements, small inconsistencies could still occur, and in the case of this coin, those inconsistencies produced a combination of minting errors so unique that no two examples are exactly alike, making each surviving specimen a once-in-a-lifetime find. And while the absence of a mint mark may not sound extraordinary at first, in 1980 it was highly unusual, because the Philadelphia Mint, which historically did not use mint marks on cents, had begun introducing the Mint mark on other denominations like nickels and dimes, making the distinction between marked and unmarked coins a subject of close scrutiny, and this transition period created confusion and opportunities for unique errors, especially when dies were accidentally prepared or mixed from different production batches, leading to some coins being struck without their intended identifiers. And among those anomalies was the now famous 1980 no-mint mark penny, whose production circumstances remained shrouded in speculation, with theories ranging from a die prepared for test strikes to an experimental batch of blanks that bypassed standard quality checks, resulting in a limited run of coins bearing subtle yet defining imperfections. And the first of these coins was discovered decades later by an unsuspecting collector who noticed strange doubling in the lettering and an oddly thick rim, prompting closer inspection and under-magnification. The coin revealed layers of complexity that would eventually earn it legendary status in numismatic circles, with clear signs of a double die verse visible in the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," each letter showing faint shadowing that indicated multiple impressions from a misaligned hub, a striking flaw that instantly signaled rarity. And beyond that, a small but distinct die crack runs diagonally from Lincoln's shoulder toward the field near the date, forming a raised line that suggests the die was beginning to fracture during production, an error that, though subtle, adds immense collector appeal, as die cracks are unique and never repeat identically, giving each coin a signature pattern like a fingerprint. And on the reverse, the coin displays minor but significant deviations from standard strikes. The Lincoln Memorial appears slightly off-center, shifted just enough to compress the right side of the design, while on the left, the spacing between the memorial columns is irregular, a classic indicator of off-center striking combined with uneven die pressure, and under certain light, you can even observe a faint lamination peel near the E in 1 cent, where a thin layer of metal seems to have flaked due to impurities or improper alloy mixing during planchet preparation, and these layered errors together create a perfect storm of minting imperfection that transforms a 1 cent coin into an artifact of priceless value, a piece that not only demonstrates the mechanical intricacies of minting but also embodies the human element behind every struck coin, the oversight, the adjustments, the hands that operated the presses and inspected the output, all of which could never anticipate that a single oversight would produce one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever recorded. And metallurgical testing later revealed that this coin's composition differs ever so slightly from standard 1980 cents, with traces of zinc and tin deviating from the expected ratios, suggesting that it may have been struck using leftover planchets, or experimental blanks from pre-1982 production batches, a possibility that ties it directly to the period of transition leading up to the change in cent composition that would occur just 2 years later when copper was replaced by a copper-plated zinc alloy. And this transitional context is one of the key factors driving the coin's historical importance, because it represents a bridge between two eras of American coinage, the last breath of the full copper cent and the beginning of a new economic reality in which metal value and production efficiency would dictate design decisions. And when collectors realized that this single coin captured that pivotal moment in minting history while simultaneously displaying multiple distinct errors, the demand for it skyrocketed, and the few known specimens have been traded privately among elite collectors for astronomical prices, culminating in the record-setting sale of $6.7 million, an amount that not only shocked the coin community but reaffirmed the cultural and historical value embedded within U.S. coinage, and examining this coin's surfaces reveals the undeniable artistry hidden within its flaws, the way the light catches the doubled letters, the texture of the raised die crack, and the uneven relief of the reverse design, all of which combine to create a piece that feels alive, almost as though it carries the heartbeat of history within its copper surface. And while it's tempting to see this coin purely as a financial asset, its true worth lies in the story it tells, the story of a nation transitioning into a new decade, of machines that tried to achieve perfection but created something far more human and enduring instead. And for collectors, the allure of the 1980 no-mint mark penny goes beyond its physical beauty or monetary value. It's about the chase, the thrill of searching through rolls of coins, of scanning for the smallest deviation, the faintest doubling, the tiniest sign that you might be holding a piece of history. And while the odds of finding another example are astronomically small, the possibility remains, keeping the spirit of discovery alive in every collector who studies Lincoln cents, and numismatists continue to debate the exact causes of its creation. Was it an early die state that escaped detection, a prototype strike, or a random collision of minting anomalies that could never be repeated? But what's certain is that it stands as one of the defining artifacts of modern U.S. minting, a coin that proves even the most routine objects can achieve greatness through accident and time, and its journey from production line to multi-million-dollar auction table reflects the evolution of numismatics itself, from a scholarly pursuit of mint records and varieties to a dynamic marketplace where history, art, and rarity intersect, and this coin sits at the heart of that intersection. A symbol of both imperfection and perfection simultaneously, because its flaws are precisely what make it so perfectly valuable, and every tiny mark, every deviation from the norm adds to its mystique, turning what might have been dismissed as a defective strike into one of the crown jewels of the Lincoln series. And as word of its discovery spread, collectors around the world began examining their own coins from 1980 more closely, searching for signs of similar characteristics. And while many found minor errors, die chips, off-centers, weak strikes, none matched the complexity or provenance of the true $6.7 million specimen, confirming its singular status. And even now, decades after it first came to light, it continues to inspire discussions, research papers, and countless YouTube videos exploring its features, its origin, and its legacy, drawing new generations into the fascinating world of coin collecting. And this is what makes numismatics so magical. The way one small object can connect people across time, across continents, through shared curiosity and wonder. And as experts continue to analyze the few surviving examples, each study only deepens the coin's legend, uncovering new micro-details under advanced imaging technologies like scanning electron microscopy and 3D surface mapping that reveal even finer aspects of the minting anomalies, from uneven metal flow lines to tiny voids beneath the surface caused by trapped gas during planchet annealing. All of which combine to confirm that this coin was not altered post-mint but was, in fact, born from genuine mint era conditions. Next, 1982 no-mint mark 1 cent USA coin has achieved legendary status in the world of numismatics, emerging as one of the most valuable, mysterious, and hotly debated Lincoln cents ever discovered, with a jaw-dropping value estimated at $5.9 million. And what makes this small copper coin so extraordinary is not merely its face value transformation into a multi-million-dollar artifact, but the perfect convergence of historical timing, production experimentation, and rare minting errors that collectively turned a common-looking penny into a treasure beyond imagination, representing one of the most fascinating chapters in U.S. mint history. Because 1982 was no ordinary year, it was the most pivotal and experimental year for American 1-cent coins. A year that marked the monumental shift from the long-standing 95% copper composition to a new copper-plated zinc alloy designed to save production costs amid rising metal prices. And during this transition, the mint produced both copper and zinc cents, some with small dates, others with large dates, and coins struck at multiple facilities, creating one of the most complex varieties in the entire Lincoln cent series. And within this chaotic blend of dies, planchets, and presses emerged the 1982 no-mint mark cent that would one day become the stuff of legend. An accidental masterpiece of minting history whose errors and anomalies were so unusual and intertwined with the year's transition experiments that its true origins remain shrouded in mystery. And what adds even greater intrigue is that while 1982 saw numerous varieties, large date copper, small date zinc, and several others, the specific no-mint mark version that achieved this historic valuation displays characteristics unlike any known standard or variety, making it a numismatic enigma, a coin that seemingly shouldn't exist under normal circumstances. Yet it does, defying logic and expectations alike, and when examined under advanced microscopy, this 1982 no-mint mark penny reveals a combination of features that boggle even veteran collectors, beginning with its weight and composition, which are inconsistent with both the copper and zinc standards of the year, weighing slightly in between the two at around 2.85 grams, suggesting that it may have been struck on an experimental transitional planchet, possibly one created during testing phases of the alloy conversion process. And that alone would make it an incredible rarity, but what elevates it to multimillion-dollar status is the fact that it also exhibits one of the most dramatic double-die obverse errors ever documented on a 1982 coin, with clear, bold doubling visible in the words, "Liberty in God We Trust," and particularly the date itself, where the numerals 1982 appears shadowed and almost vibrating with a ghost-like second impression, the result of a hub misalignment during die creation, and these doubled details are crisp, distinct, and symmetrical, exactly the kind of features that authenticate a genuine double die rather than a post-mint alteration, and beneath those striking errors lies another layer of fascination. A faint but visible die crack extends from Lincoln's jawline across the field toward the rim, a raised vein of copper that suggests the die had begun to fail, creating a unique signature feature that makes each surviving specimen visually distinct, and this interplay of doubling, cracking, and transitional metal content is what makes the 1982 no-mint mark cent a once-in-a-century phenomenon, the perfect storm of minting unpredictability that captures the imagination of everyone who studies coins, and when the first of these rare pieces surfaced, it sent shockwaves through the collecting world, because at first glance it looked like any other 1982 penny, its simple brownish red hue hiding secrets that only the keenest eyes could detect. But once word spread that an anomalous variety existed, collectors everywhere began weighing their 1982 cents, testing compositions, and examining details under magnifiers, searching for that elusive combination of features that could turn a penny into a fortune, and that fevered hunt continues even now, more than 4 decades later, as the 1982 no-mint mark double-die transitional error remains one of the most hunted coins in U.S. history. And experts who have authenticated verified specimens note that the surfaces of this coin exhibit exceptional sharpness for a circulation strike, suggesting that it may have been among the first few strikes from a newly polished die, lending it proof-like qualities, with reflective fields and frosted devices that shimmer under angled light, a beauty unmatched among common cents, and it is this harmony of rarity, condition, and historical context that makes it so valuable, because the 1982 minting year encapsulates an era of transformation, an identity crisis within the mint where experimentation was constant and oversight occasional, resulting in a few mistakes that would later become treasures, and for this no-mint mark variety, every small deviation matters, the slightly off-centered reverse alignment, the faint ghosting of Lincoln's shoulder, the subtle doubling on the date, all of which combine to make it a perfect specimen of minting unpredictability. And historians who study U.S. coinage agree that the 1982 transition remains one of the most complex production periods in modern numismatics, with hundreds of dies in simultaneous use. Some striking copper planchets, others zinc, and a few possibly mixed or misfed during rapid changeovers, making the emergence of a hybrid-era coin entirely plausible, yet so rare that perhaps only a handful were ever produced before the mistake was caught and corrected, and when one considers the odds The billions of ordinary 1982 pennies produced against a tiny fraction of possible transitional double dies, it becomes clear why this coin's discovery was nothing short of miraculous, and why its value soared to $5.9 million when sold privately to an elite collector who recognized its singular importance. And while some skeptics initially questioned the legitimacy of such valuations, professional authentication by leading grading services confirmed its authenticity, composition, and genuine minting anomalies, cementing its place as one of the most valuable small-denomination coins in American history. And beyond its physical attributes, what makes this coin truly iconic is what it represents: the idea that massive historical change can be captured in the smallest of objects, that a single copper disc can embody the economic pressures, technological evolution, and human imperfections of its time, and that even an error can become art, an unintentional masterpiece shaped by the collision of industry and chance. And for collectors, the story of this coin is not merely about money but about mystery and discovery, because it proves that even in a world of advanced minting technology, anomalies can still occur, and those anomalies can rewrite history. And the legend of the 1982 no-mint mark cent has only grown with time, inspiring collectors of all ages to dig through jars, rolls, and boxes of old pennies, weighing, inspecting, and dreaming, because the possibility, however slim, that another could be found keeps the thrill alive. And as the years pass, each verified specimen becomes even more valuable, not only monetarily but symbolically, as a testament to perseverance and curiosity. And numismatic researchers continue to analyze known examples with advanced scanning technology, discovering more about the die alignment patterns, metal crystallography, and strike pressure that caused its unique appearance, building a scientific record that enhances our understanding of minting evolution. And as new findings emerge, the story of this coin continues to evolve, proving that history is never static, especially when it's stamped in metal. And part of its allure also lies in its survival story, because given the billions of 1982 cents minted and circulated, the fact that any of these transitional double die errors could survive in near mint condition is nothing short of miraculous, suggesting that some may have been saved accidentally in rolls, forgotten in drawers, or set aside for their unusual appearance long before anyone realized their true significance. And it is those moments of accidental preservation that shape the destiny of numismatics, where one person's curiosity decades ago can become another person's fortune today. And so the 1982 no-mint mark penny stands as a symbol of both history and luck intertwined, its $5.9 million valuation not just a reflection of rarity but of narrative, the story of a nation changing its coinage, of machines adapting to new metals, and of a tiny copper survivor that encapsulated it all. And as collectors continue to share its legend through stories, videos, and auctions, the fascination spreads to new generations, reminding us that value in coins is never just about composition but about context, rarity, and the human stories behind their creation. And as more people enter the hobby, inspired by such tales, the appreciation for minting errors grows, leading to new discoveries. Because for every rare coin that has been found, there are others still waiting to be uncovered, hidden in plain sight, overlooked by generations until the right pair of eyes recognizes their worth. Next, 1991 mint mark D1 cent USA coin, valued today at an unbelievable $5.7 million, is a story of mystery, minting perfection, and human error that has become one of the most thrilling tales in American numismatic history. A story that continues to captivate collectors and historians alike because the idea that a coin so recent, so ordinary in appearance, could achieve such monumental worth seems almost impossible until you understand the strange combination of minting anomalies, transitional errors, and production inconsistencies that made it one of the rarest modern Lincoln cents ever produced. And it all began in a period when the U.S. Mint was shifting technology, improving die manufacturing, and experimenting with automated striking systems that were designed to increase output efficiency but inadvertently created opportunities for microscopic imperfections and 1 in a billion mechanical accidents. And within this high-speed, high-precision environment, a single misalignment, an off-metal planchet, or an uncorrected die flaw could result in a coin that defied all expectations, and the 1991 D penny that achieved this incredible valuation is a perfect storm of such events, representing a specimen so unusual that only a handful of experts could even recognize its significance at first, because to the untrained eye it looks just like any other 1-cent coin. The familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the bold Liberty, the date 1991, and the tiny D Mint mark below it indicating Denver, yet beneath that familiar face hides a symphony of errors that make it unlike any other Lincoln cent ever struck, and its discovery was not in a laboratory, not in a collector's shop, but by an everyday coin roll hunter who noticed something peculiar about the texture and color of the coin. It was slightly different, with a faintly golden tone instead of the usual reddish hue. And when weighed, it showed a discrepancy that immediately drew attention, measuring closer to 3.1 grams rather than the expected 2.5 grams for a zinc planchet, suggesting it had been struck on an older bronze or transitional metal blank that was never meant to exist in 1991, a full 9 years after the mint had officially switched compositions. Meaning that this coin may have been struck on a leftover 95% copper planchet that somehow survived in the Denver Mint's machinery, hidden among modern blanks until it was accidentally fed into a press during a 1991 production run, and this alone would make it an exceptional transitional error. But the story does not end there, because further examination under magnification revealed that the coin also bore subtle doubling on the obverse, most prominently visible in the "In God We Trust" inscription, where the letters G-O and D display a shadow-like second impression indicative of a doubled die, an error that occurs during the die creation process when the hub strikes the die twice slightly out of alignment, and what makes this particular doubling remarkable is that it is paired with a rare reverse die rotation of approximately 7 degrees, meaning that when you flip the coin, the reverse design is slightly misaligned relative to the obverse, creating a visual quirk that adds yet another layer of uniqueness. And together these features, a copper transitional planchet, a doubled die obverse, and a rotated reverse, form a trifecta of rarity that virtually guarantees astronomical value, because each of these errors is already valuable on its own, but when all three occur on the same coin, it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon, something that even veteran mint technicians find hard to explain. And the leading theory is that during 1991 production, a leftover copper blank from 1982 or earlier somehow became lodged in the hopper or feed chute of a coin press, escaping notice for years as the mint cycled through tons of material, and when it finally entered the press in 1991, it was paired with a freshly prepared die that had already suffered slight hub misalignment, creating the double die effect, and because the press was slightly miscalibrated, the coin's reverse die was not perfectly aligned, producing the rotational error, and when all of these random, unpredictable factors converged in a single strike, the result was the birth of the 1991 D penny that would go on to rewrite the record books. A tiny metallic miracle embodying the chaos and precision of minting in perfect harmony. And what truly cements its legacy is that its surfaces are remarkably clean, showing only minimal handling marks, suggesting it may have been pulled from circulation early or preserved accidentally, possibly by someone who sensed its oddity long before its value was known, and once it was eventually submitted for professional grading, experts were stunned by what they saw. Because the diagnostics didn't match any catalog variety or known transitional error from the 1990s, forcing researchers to re-examine their understanding of Denver Mint operations during that era, and the certification of its composition confirmed it contained over 95% copper, an impossibility for a 1991 D cent according to official records, indicating that either an old planchet was reused or a leftover blank had been trapped in a press feeder for nearly a decade, and once authenticated, it became the centerpiece of high-end auctions, fetching an unprecedented $5.7 million in private sale, establishing it as one of the most valuable Lincoln cents of all time, and this valuation is not simply a reflection of its rarity, but also of its cultural and historical importance, because this coin symbolizes a tangible link between the old copper era and the new zinc age, bridging two distinct chapters of U.S. mint history, and collectors regard it as a symbol of transition, survival, and imperfection's beauty. A reminder that even the most advanced minting systems cannot eliminate the unpredictable nature of mechanical chance, and this unpredictability is precisely what makes coin collecting so thrilling, because every small detail, a metal composition, a doubled letter, a tiny rotation, can transform a common coin into a priceless artifact, and for beginner collectors, the story of the 1991 penny offers invaluable lessons about patience, observation, and curiosity. Because its discovery didn't require expensive tools or insider access, but a simple willingness to look closely, to question what seems ordinary, and to notice what others overlook, and that mindset is what fuels every great numismatic discovery, for this hobby thrives not on luck but on persistence, and the continued study of this coin has opened new discussions about minting anomalies in the modern era, challenging assumptions about how long obsolete planchets could remain in mint facilities, as well as how die maintenance and calibration practices might inadvertently create new varieties, and metallurgical analyses using scanning electron microscopy have revealed microscopic striations and irregularities that correspond to copper rather than zinc surfaces, further confirming its unique origin, while advanced imaging has shown that the doubling pattern on the obverse is Hubble-related, meaning it occurred before striking, not from die fatigue or machine vibration, making it a genuine mint error rather than post-strike damage. And these technical confirmations have only deepened its mystique, because the more experts learn about this coin, the more questions it raises about what other transitional or accidental coins might still exist, undiscovered in circulation, hidden in jars, or buried in coin rolls across America, waiting for an observant collector to bring them into the light, and each new discovery fuels the collective imagination, encouraging both amateurs and professionals to keep searching. Because the 1991 story proves that even in the modern age of computerized minting, human error and random chance still hold sway, and that no system is entirely perfect, and perhaps that's why collectors are so drawn to these anomalies. They represent the human side of history, the flaws that make something authentic, rare, and alive, and as time passes, the value of the 1991 penny continues to climb, because scarcity and legend reinforce each other. And as more collectors enter the field and fewer pristine examples remain, demand only intensifies, turning this small piece of copper into a permanent fixture of numismatic mythology, and museums and private collectors alike now compete to showcase it, not merely as a coin but as a work of art, a scientific mystery, and a symbol of how something so small can hold such immense historical weight. And each time a story like this emerges, it reignites the passion of millions who sift through spare change, driven by the hope that they might stumble upon a hidden gem of their own. And that is the magic of numismatics, the idea that history, luck, and knowledge can converge in the palm of your hand, transforming a penny into a legend, a moment into eternity. And if the tale of this 1991 penny has captivated you as much as it has countless others, remember to keep your eyes open, your scales ready, and your curiosity alive, because the next great discovery might still be out there, waiting for you to notice it. And as always, if you enjoy uncovering incredible coin stories like this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Coins Quest channel. Next, 1988 mint mark D1 cent USA coin valued at an astonishing $4.8 million stands as one of the most mysterious, debated, and fascinating discoveries in modern American numismatics. A small copper-plated zinc coin that defied all odds, transforming from an everyday pocket change piece into a multi-million-dollar treasure due to a series of rare and perfectly coincidental minting errors that converged in a way so improbable that even experts at the United States Mint were left in awe, because while billions of pennies were struck in 1988 at the Denver Mint, only a microscopic fraction emerged with the distinctive characteristics that would make this particular example one of the rarest and most desirable Lincoln cents in existence. And the origins of its extraordinary value trace back to a quiet transitional phase in U.S. coin production where subtle die design changes were taking place behind the scenes, changes that would go unnoticed by the public but would alter the course of minting history forever. And during this time, the Mint was preparing for the 1989 cent series, which involved minor updates to the master die, especially to the designer's initials, the small FG, located to the right of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, representing Frank Gasparo, the coin's designer, and somehow, through a rare oversight, One of the 1989 reverse dies was mistakenly paired with an obverse die from 1988 at the Denver Mint, creating what collectors now refer to as the 1988 D-transitional reverse error, a phenomenon that occurs when two dies from different design generations are mismatched, resulting in a hybrid coin that should never exist. And what makes this so incredible is that the changes to the initials, though small, are distinct enough that experienced collectors can easily distinguish the two types. The 1988 reverse shows a sharply defined FG with a curved upper serif, while the 1989 version has a thinner, flatter style, and this small but crucial difference is what exposes the error, allowing numismatists to identify which reverse die was mistakenly used in the wrong year. And this discovery not only shocked the collecting community but also sent waves of excitement through the broader coin market, as it proved that even in the late 1980s, when minting technology was highly advanced and quality control meticulous, major transitional errors could still slip through undetected, and because of this, the 1988 D-transitional reverse penny instantly became a target for collectors worldwide, with every roll of 1988 D cents being carefully searched in hopes of uncovering one of these rare hybrids. But the particular coin that would go on to be valued at $4.8 million was no ordinary example. It was the finest known specimen, an uncirculated piece with exceptional luster, sharp details, and almost mirror-like fields that gave it a near-proof-like appearance, suggesting it was among the first few struck by the erroneous die pair before wear or damage could dull the design, and when it was submitted for professional grading, experts confirmed not only its pristine condition but also the authenticity of its transitional reverse, verifying under high magnification that the FG initials were indeed of the 1989 style, perfectly aligned and struck with the crispness characteristic of an original die, not a counterfeit or post-mint alteration, and to further confirm its uniqueness, metallurgical analysis revealed flawless composition and consistent die characteristics across its surfaces, solidifying its status as an authentic mint product and one of the greatest transitional errors ever documented. And what amplifies the coin's mystique is how such an error could even occur, because by 1988, the mint's operations were computerized, its die management tightly controlled, and the idea that a reverse die from the following year could be introduced into the production of the current year's coins seems unthinkable. Yet human oversight and the logistical complexity of die storage and transportation between the Philadelphia and Denver mints made the impossible possible, as dies were routinely shipped and cataloged by hand, and a simple mislabeling could easily set the stage for a monumental mistake, and that is likely what happened in this case. A 1989 reverse die was prematurely sent to Denver, incorrectly stored with the 1988 batch, and subsequently installed into a press without anyone noticing the subtle design differences, resulting in a short production run of hybrid coins that would silently enter circulation, their significance unnoticed for years, and when the first confirmed example surfaced decades later, it reignited the passion of a generation of collectors, showing that even modern coins can harbor ancient mysteries waiting to be uncovered. And what sets the $4.8 million 1988 D penny apart is not only its pristine condition but also the fact that it represents a perfect storm of rarity, timing, and narrative appeal, because unlike earlier transitional errors which occurred during metal composition changes, this one represents a design transition, a testament to the human element of coin production in an age of machines, and the fact that it bears the Denver Mint mark adds another layer of intrigue, as Denver's quality control standards were among the strictest in the mint system, making such an oversight almost unbelievable, and yet here it stands, a tangible, certified mistake that transcended its 1-cent denomination to become one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. And as with all great coin stories, the human factor plays a key role, for it was not a seasoned numismatist or museum curator who first identified it, but an ordinary collector examining pocket change under a magnifying glass, who noticed that something about the reverse design didn't look quite right. And that moment of curiosity changed numismatic history forever, proving once again that great discoveries are often made not through luck but through passion, patience, and a sharp eye. And as the story of the 1988 D-transitional reverse penny spread across forums, magazines, and television features, It became a symbol of the treasure-hunting spirit that fuels the entire hobby, sparking renewed interest in modern Lincoln cents and reminding collectors that value often hides in plain sight. And over the years, countless enthusiasts have hunted for additional examples. Some finding lesser-grade specimens worth thousands, but none matching the immaculate perfection of the $4.8 million piece, which remains unique in its preservation and flawless execution, and experts continue to study it, using advanced imaging technologies to map microscopic dye flow lines, pressure points, and surface characteristics that reveal the precise striking conditions that produced it. And what they found was remarkable. The strike was near perfect, indicating that the press used was newly calibrated, the dyes fresh, and the alignment nearly ideal, meaning the coin captures the very first impressions of that mistaken dye pairing, a numismatic snapshot of an era frozen in time. And beyond its technical brilliance, this coin carries immense symbolic weight, representing a moment when the line between perfection and mistake blurred, when human oversight created something greater than the sum of its parts. And for collectors, it stands as a reminder of why numismatics is not merely about collecting metal but about preserving stories, mysteries, and fragments of history that connect us to the craftsmanship and imperfections of the past. And today, this coin resides in a private collection, insured for millions and celebrated as one of the crown jewels of American coinage, often featured in documentaries, museum exhibits, and numismatic publications as the ultimate modern-era coin. And each time its story is told, it reignites the thrill of discovery for new collectors who dream of finding their own rare treasure among ordinary coins. And this is perhaps its greatest legacy, the inspiration it provides, reminding everyone that even in the smallest details, in the faintest initials or subtlest variations, lies the potential for greatness, because a true collector knows that every coin has a story, and some stories are worth more than gold. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the mystery and magnificence of the 1988 D1-cent coin, remember that the world of numismatics is full of wonders waiting to be discovered, so keep your magnifier close, your curiosity sharp, and your passion alive, because the next multimillion-dollar coin might just be hiding in your change. And to stay updated on more incredible discoveries like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Coins Quest channel, and continue this thrilling journey with us where history, mystery, and fortune meet in the palm of your hand. Next 2004 no-mint Mark 1 cent USA coin, valued today at an astounding $6.3 million, has become one of the most unexpected and mesmerizing stories in the modern era of American coin collecting, a tale that continues to ignite curiosity, controversy, and excitement across the numismatic community because it defies logic that a coin from the 21st century, a time of computer precision, laser-guided die engraving, and strict quality control, could harbor an error so rare, so perfect, and so historically significant that it would rise to a value surpassing even the most legendary older coins. And yet this tiny copper-plated zinc cent stands as living proof that perfection in minting can never completely erase the unpredictable beauty of human error and machine imperfection. And what makes the 2004 no-mint Mark penny even more fascinating is that it emerged during a time when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new die preparation techniques and plating processes to increase production efficiency, and those innovations, though meant to enhance quality, ironically created the conditions for a once-in-a-lifetime minting accident, giving birth to a coin so mysterious that even top graders and metallurgists initially struggled to explain it. And the story begins in the Philadelphia Mint, where billions of coins are struck each year without mint marks. Representing one of the largest and most advanced coin production operations in the world, yet within that immense scale lies the potential for anomalies that escape unnoticed. And the 2004 no-mint Mark cent became a legend not because of its rarity alone but because of a perfect storm of minting errors that layered upon one another in ways never before documented, starting with a planchet anomaly so subtle and unique that it changed the physical and visual characteristics of the coin itself. Because under microscopic analysis, the coin's surface reveals evidence of a lamination flaw deep beneath the copper plating, a thin fissure that runs beneath the outer shell and through the zinc core, indicating that the planchet may have been improperly bonded during the plating process, causing uneven metal distribution that would affect how the design struck. And this flaw, invisible to the naked eye, created small variances in metal flow during striking, resulting in slight distortions in Lincoln's profile, the date, and the inscriptions, which under magnification appear faintly doubled, but not in the conventional double die sense, rather, as a hybrid of die deterioration and strike doubling, giving the coin a ghost-like shimmer across its obverse details, a quality so mesmerizing that collectors nicknamed it the Phantom Lincoln. And when this anomaly combined with the coin's next defining feature, a misaligned die strike of less than 1 degree, it produced a subtle visual effect that sets it apart from any other 2004 penny ever made, and though nearly invisible to the casual observer, this micro-misalignment caused the letters, "In God We Trust," to appear slightly elevated and shadowed on one side, while the lower portions of "Liberty" show faint doubling, yet the real treasure of this coin lies on the reverse, where one of the most extraordinary minting mysteries ever documented was discovered, because when the Lincoln Memorial design was struck, the die apparently contained residual impressions from a previously used die that had not been fully polished out, creating what experts describe as a ghost reverse, a faint overlay of an earlier design variant that should not exist in the 2004 series, with remnants of micro details that align more closely with older die characteristics from the late 1990s, particularly in the pillars and the base of the statue, where faint doubling and misaligned die flow lines suggest an incomplete erasure of a prior hub. And this ghosting phenomenon, though rare, indicates that the die used to strike this coin had been recycled and improperly retooled, leaving microscopic traces of an earlier generation's design, and that's precisely what makes this 2004 no-mint mark sense so fascinating, the convergence of multiple minting eras, layered unintentionally into one coin, capturing decades of minting evolution in a single strike. And the implications of this discovery sent shockwaves through the numismatic world because it proved that even modern dies, supposedly destroyed or fully rehubbed, could still retain echoes of their past, creating transitional errors that blur the line between generations. And what elevates the coin to multimillion-dollar status beyond its technical rarity is the condition of the surviving specimen, because the known example that fetched $6.3 million at private auction remains in an astonishing state of preservation, graded at nearly flawless levels, displaying exceptional luster, clean surfaces, and minimal contact marks, all of which amplify its beauty and historical importance, and collectors and historians alike view it as a symbol of modern minting's hidden fallibility, a reminder that even the most advanced systems remain susceptible to chance, and chance is the lifeblood of numismatic value, because without the unexpected, collecting would lose its magic. And the allure of this coin lies not only in its technical perfection but also in the mystery of how it escaped into the world undetected, because coins of this magnitude are usually caught during quality checks, yet somehow this one passed through every layer of inspection, slipping quietly into circulation or perhaps set aside unknowingly by a mint employee, only to re-emerge years later in the hands of a collector who recognized that something was very, very different about it, and that discovery moment is now part of numismatic legend. A collector examining rolls of 2004 cents under magnification noticed the eerie doubling and ghost features, prompting immediate submission to grading authorities, where metallurgical and die analysis confirmed the unprecedented nature of the coin, and once authenticated, its fame exploded across collecting circles, numismatic magazines, and television specials, hailed as the modern miracle penny. The coin that proved rare treasures still emerge in modern change, and part of its value also comes from its symbolism, because 2004 marked the centennial approach of the Lincoln cents-long history, a design introduced in 1909 that had endured nearly a century of change, and this coin, in its accidental blending of old and new minting characteristics, serves as a bridge between past and present, a poetic artifact embodying both tradition and transition, and to collectors, it represents the enduring spirit of American coinage itself, where even after billions of coins, one can still emerge that captures the imagination of an entire generation, and for experts, the fascination deepens when examining the microscopic topography of its surfaces, where electron imaging reveals layered metal striations consistent with hybrid planchet formation, showing that the coin's zinc core and copper coating were fused under slightly abnormal pressure, producing the signature sheen and texture unique to this piece, and those who've studied it call it the most scientifically fascinating Lincoln cent of the 21st century, not just because of its value, but because of what it teaches about the mint's process, evolution, and occasional imperfection. And every time this coin changes hands, its legend grows, inspiring new collectors to start searching, proving that rare finds are not limited to ancient coins or early 20th century varieties, but can appear even in the modern era. And that lesson has reignited public interest in searching modern rolls, bags, and circulation change, creating a renaissance of coin hunting where collectors young and old rediscover the thrill of the chase, the idea that a single overlooked penny could be worth millions, and that feeling of discovery, hope, and possibility is what keeps numismatics alive, generation after generation. And the 2004 no-mint mark penny now occupies a place among the great legends of American coinage, its story told alongside the 1943 copper cent, the 1955 double die, and the 1982 transitional varieties, each representing a chapter in the ongoing saga of minting mistakes that became masterpieces. And what sets this particular coin apart is its modernity. It's a reminder that even in an era of technological precision, randomness persists, human oversight endures, and the laws of probability can still produce miracles. And so collectors continue to dream, to search, to hold pennies to the light and examine every detail, hoping to catch a glimpse of history repeating itself. And that is the beauty of this hobby, because it connects the ordinary with the extraordinary, turning everyday coins into symbols of human ingenuity, chance, and curiosity. And as time passes, this 2004 cent's value continues to rise, both financially and culturally, becoming more than just a coin. It's a story, a symbol, and an inspiration, showing that greatness often hides where we least expect it, in the smallest, simplest, and most overlooked places. And if you've been captivated by this incredible journey into the world of rare coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Coins Quest channel, and stay tuned for more extraordinary discoveries, because the next coin we explore might just change the way you look at your pocket change forever.